Brian here, and I've got a game of Homefront for you today. This is Ground Control on Angel Island. This is probably my least favorite map I've come across so far in Homefront, mainly because, as you'll notice in the beginning portion or the first round of this game of Ground Control, you'll see that I'm spawning on one mountain, and right across the way is another little mountain, which obviously suggests that this is going to be a very, very sniper-friendly map, which it is. And actually, I did try sniping a couple times on this map, and I did pretty well with it. So I may be bringing you a sniper gameplay of me for the first time ever sometime in the near future. But I really wasn't going to talk about the gameplay as usual. What I decided I want to talk to you guys about today is something that seems to come up in the Philly area pretty much every single year. I'm sure it comes up in your towns as well, but I am going to put a local spin on this because, like I said, that is my obvious frame of reference, and that is regarding when is it okay to boo your sports team or a certain player on a team. Obviously, many of you know Philadelphia does not have the greatest of reputations as far as sports fans go, and I have been to many different sporting events over the course of my lifetime. And I'll definitely say that the media's representation of the average Philadelphia sports fan, or what it's like to go to a sporting event here in the Philadelphia area, is blown incredibly out of proportion. Of course, you know, there have been a few questionable fans that have done some pretty stupid things over the course of the last 15, 20, 25 years, like throwing snowballs to Santa Claus and whatnot, but I'm not really going to get into the whole thing about Philadelphia sports fans. Like I said, we're going to talk about when is it okay to boo your favorite sports team or at a sporting event or a player at that event. Like I said, I bring this up because, like I said, this topic came up again here locally. It started last Tuesday. Obviously, baseball season just started. Most teams are anywhere from 8 to 10 to maybe at the most 12 games into the season so far. And last Tuesday was the first start for Cole Hamels this year. And as we all know, or many people should know, Cole Hamels was the MVP of the 2008 World Series when the Philadelphia Phillies beat the Tampa Bay Devil Rays in the World Series. And he admitted in 2009 that he did not have a great year. He did not prepare for it. I guess he was pretty enthralled and wrapped up in the whole World Series MVP thing, and he didn't prepare correctly in the off-season. He didn't put the normal amount of work in that he normally does, and he was just very distracted by, I guess, you know, the commercials, the speaking appearances, and whatnot. So he had a pretty down year in 2009 by his standards. Last year, in 2010, he did have some of a bounce-back season. Of course, you know, the Phillies got bounced out in the playoffs by the San Francisco Giants, who went on to win the World Series last year. And this year, you know, obviously, many people are also aware that follow baseball that the Phillies did re-sign Cliff Lee. So people, Sports Illustrated, all the national magazines and whatnot, were making a pretty big deal about, you know, the Phillies' 4 aces and are they the greatest rotation in baseball history. So, like I said, many of you may have read those articles. I didn't read anything because I hear it almost every day, or I did hear it almost every day on my local sports talk radio station. But obviously, with that being said, you know, the media, the fans, the city in general had and still have incredible expectations for the Phillies this year. Many people are picking them to go back to and win the World Series again this year. So when Cole Hamels came out last Tuesday and had an incredibly bad pitching performance, if my numbers are correct here, the Phillies lost that game 7-1. And let me see, I'm just trying to check his stats here. He only pitched 2 2/3 of an inning. He gave up 7 hits and 6 runs, walked 2 batters, and struck out 3 for a whopping 20.25 ERA. So, obviously those numbers suck balls, and the fans at the stadium began to boo him. And there was a lot of debate in the city and, like I said, on Sports Talk and amongst the media about why that was, and was it appropriate. Obviously, like I said, there were incredibly high expectations for the team and Cole Hamels as a player as well this year, especially after his strong performance and bounce back year last year. So I think that has a lot to do with it. When you are a very talented player, a former World Series MVP, people aren't very tolerant of that type of performance. So I said that's my take on why people decided to boo him that game. And it also came up again just the other day as well, as many of you are again aware. It was probably one of the biggest free agent signings of the baseball offseason. Jason Worth, the former Phillies right fielder, was not re-signed by the team this year. He was signed by the Washington Nationals. I believe the Phillies had offered him $90 million, and he went to the Nationals for $126 million. So normally when a player like that comes back to the former home city for the first time, the question always is, how are they going to be received? Are you going to cheer them, or are you going to boo them? The first time the Phillies are meeting Washington actually is right now. It's Game 2 of the series, and they're playing them in Washington. Now, most people know Washington is not a very good team. Not many fans go to the games. Just looking at it now on TV, even the seats right behind home plate are empty. So, since Washington is only about a 2.5-hour drive from Philadelphia, many Philadelphia fans do go down there to watch the Phillies play. And many of those fans that were in there last night, it was probably almost a 50-50 split, did boo Jason Worth whenever he went up to the plate or made a play in the field. My little bit of a take on it is, I guess, nowadays you pay an incredible amount of money to go see a sporting event. I mean, I remember when I was a kid how cheap tickets used to be. And now, even for my wife and I, we can't really afford to go see hockey games like we'd want to. And going to see a baseball game now is a well over $100 night out, sometimes a $200 night out. So, I mean, like I said, you spend a lot of money to see your team do well and certain players do well. So, I mean, with that being said, if that team is not performing up to your standards, does that give you the right to boo? I'm really looking forward to reading your comments and hearing your thoughts about this. And as always, guys, I hope you did really enjoy the video. I will talk to all of you soon, and I hope you have a good one.